actually having this discussion yesterday with our panelists in the morning, and what I'd said is actually what has happened. There's a lot of uproar from the public, from the civil servants. So now warning the salaries and remuneration team, the new team, not even to dare slash the allowances that they've been given. And now they're threatening actually to go to court should the SRC slash the payments.
You know, part of trade law, labor union laws, is that once you have given an employee certain allowances or perks or benefits, you can only remove them on consensus. So, for example, if the company is doing badly, you tell them, look, it's either we all take a 15% pay cut so that we can survive, or I have to retrench some of you. So, by agreement, the employer and the employees can say, you know what, because this is unsustainable, let us go ahead and reduce this and that perk. We can survive with just this, for the sake of the company. What we are seeing the SRC doing, as Kenyans we can understand it, because wage bill is something that we have sung and sung until the cows have come home. There's too much money we are paying to recurrent expenditure. However, I would expect the SRC to be a little bit more diplomatic in how they implement this. Now, with the unions trying to dig in their heels and insist that don't touch our allowances or else...
Actually, the union Secretary General, that is Tom Odege, who's also a member of Parliament, said that they were not consulted when it comes to this, decision by SRC to slash some of their allowances. But, Joy, what caught my attention is that some of the allowances that SRC wants to cut, and if you read the yesterday's Standard newspaper, some of the allowances are just interesting. We have animal allowance, which I was wondering, animal allowance, like, is it because someone is handling animals, or
maybe you're living off animals?
I mean, some of the allowances, the list that were given, you're like,
what is all this about?
I wish I was a civil servant.
And that's the point I was trying to make. The civil servants need to understand, Kenya has gotten to a place where our coffers are running dry. If they do not negotiate some of these things and find a way of cushioning themselves in a way that works, they may find, okay, fine, we will leave the allowances, but the next thing will be we have to reduce the number of people who are working. So, because this money has to come back some way. But the thing that I wish SRC would do is follow through plus with our politicians. Because it would be unfair if you're targeting the lower cadre civil servants, and we have people here who are demanding to sleep in 5-star hotels when they come to Parliament. And we all know they have a house in Nairobi. We all know that they all have a house in Nairobi. But no, the one we put up in, we have to come to a place where SRC, as a constitutional commission, just bites the bullet and does its job.
Right, but Michechi, some of these allowances are not even for the junior civil servants.
Yes.
These allowances enjoyed by their bosses, even at times don't even touch their salary. They just live on their allowances.
When you talk to someone in government who has the title director, secretary, those things, when they tell you their basic salary, you will faint. Because it's between 150 and 250,000, okay? Which, for Joy Mdivo, who's a consultant, that's one meeting. So you wonder why someone would quit consultancy to go become director, this, secretary, that. The answer is a thing called per diem and allowances. Because you get on a plane, you come back a millionaire, okay? And you didn't even carry the pens to write the notes that you were supposed to write when you were there.
You come as
you went with staff.
Yes. You come back with Gucci bags and Louis Vuitton bags. That's what you do. Because these allowances, to be honest, have run amok in this country. The reason why we have benchmarking trips all over the place is because of per diem. The reason why when we go
don't forget about not only per diem, but also sitting allowance. You're given an allowance.
Exactly what we've hired you for.
Yes, appearance fees like a socialite. That's what this country is hemorrhaging on. And it's not just in the civil service, it's in state officers as well. It's in parliament. Okay, parliamentarians want to be paid to sit in a committee.
But remember also the allowances were slashed.
No, but the thing is this, we hired them to sit in those houses. We hired them to sit in those committees. What is the work of an MP? That's exactly your job. So we pay you for your job, then we pay you to turn up for work.
Come on. And then if you look at your TV set today, when KBC goes to parliament, how many empty chairs are there? No matter what it is they're discussing, whether they're discussing our border with Somalia, which is very important, or discussing the fate of two-thirds gender rule or Migingo, the only thing that you're sure will have 100% turnout is their own salaries and benefits. So the biggest issue we have in this country is we are hemorrhaging money hand over fist.
So are you supporting the SRC to slash this 140
I support the SRC with a condition, with a very serious rider, that it applies to state officers and to parliament as well as to the civil service.
But you know, when you talk about parliament, it means again the allowances are going to be slashed again, because initially they were earning a lot when it comes to allowances, sitting allowance per
They're
diem,
still earning a lot.
And of course, even their sittings were also reduced by the former, the immediate former SRC led by Sarah Serem. So slashing it again, I mean, it will cause a lot of debate, but let's not even go there.
Let me ask a simple question to the average Kenyan. If your take-home salary was 600,000 and you paid all your bills, how much change would you have left over? That's the only question you have to ask. Before you talk about allowances, is the salary enough for a parliamentarian to do what they do? The answer is yes, it is. Because, listen, let me put it like this. Let me explain to Kenyans. If you want an ambassadorial house somewhere in Karen or Runda or wherever, it will not set you back more than 200,000 shillings per month, okay? Two, if you want to shop at the most expensive supermarkets for your wife and children and yourself, it will not cost you more than 200,000. Meaning on your 600,000, you still have 200,000 shillings left to basically go to Kempinski and eat dinner.
I know where you're heading to be charging. No, but in short,
our MPs
have their salaries.
But our MPs have also become our local source of Harambe funds. They have become bursary.
That's not their role.
Like where I come from in Western, the bad manners, people wake up and by now they're already in the home of the MP, waiting for tea before they go to their various activities. But the MPs need to also win their constituents off that handout mentality. That mentality is what is also killing the MPs, because they tell you, oh, all our money is going back into their constituency. Why is it doing that? Bring development to your constituents.